Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors on Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We have a great show lined up. But first, as always, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and hard-working crew, taking care of our everyday comfort needs. Been a little rough last day or two, all this stormy, but we're going to get on through this and going to cool down a little bit. High today, 75, and low in the 50s, and actually 50 itself, and a nice little cool snap we're having here. Our water temperature, the all-important water temperature, brought to us by Allco Electric out of Lynn Haven. Folks, I had to double check it again. I've double checked it this spring more times than I ever have in 20 years of doing the show. This is 75. I told Gail, it can't be 75 at the end of the period, but water temperature is 75 degrees. And in like 1 week period, it's going like 7 degrees. That's a huge jump. But anyway, it is what it is, and the fish are jumping on the pier and jumping in the boat if you get a chance to get out, but don't get out in this wind. The river reading is brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. As you can imagine, the Apalachicola at Brunstown is reading 11 foot this morning and on the way up. And the Chalkchester Carabelle, without any dams, anything, it's on the way up. This morning it's on like a 6.3, but it's getting on up there. It's going to be up there pretty strong. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Tuesday, April 5th. We're getting ready for some neat tides. We have that full moon coming in Sunday. Decent tide today, low at 5:10 this morning and high at 6:36 tonight. And the wind, I've been saying south, south, south. How about north? At about 10 to 15 with some cool air coming in. That'll be nice. Let's take a break. Come back with our special guest.
At Bay Smile Docs, we know how to make you smile. We're open early at 7 a.m. We're open late until 8. Request an appointment at baysmiledocs.com or call 271-2341 today.
Explore the retail paradise that has everything for your outdoor adventure. Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Make your outdoor journey complete at Blue Water Outriggers. Come visit us today.
Growing up in Florida, I spent a lot of time outside. Being fair-complected, that wasn't the best idea. Now I have extensive sun damage. I've been to multiple dermatologists, and Dr. Sinceri is the only one I will see now. His office staff is professional, they are knowledgeable, and he is an all-around good family man. I highly recommend Sun Dermatologist and Dr. Sinceri.
Sun Dermatology, now accepting new patients.
At Bay Smile Docs, we know your time is precious. That's why Bay Smile Docs opens early at 7 and we're open late until 8. Request an appointment at baysmiledocs.com or call 271-2341 today.
Okay, welcome back and welcome to Officer Chris Bowley, FWC. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
First thing we're going to do is congratulations. He missed last month and Travis came in, but he had a good excuse because he was off and he was proposing to a young lady, and what did she say?
Well, she said yes, so I think it went pretty well.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is awesome. We're looking forward to it. And, works here in town. And
she does. And she's probably watching right now, so hello, Lauren. But
good morning, Lauren. Congratulations. Maybe you can come on the show one morning with Chris and make sure he does it right. So anyway, all kinds of things going on with FWC. So let's get started. You're good about having notes and all.
Oh yeah. Well, it's been a really busy month. Sorry I wasn't here last time, but there's all kinds of stuff going on. Not only with gearing up for summer and everything, and spring turkey, and it's been real busy for us, as I'm sure y'all have probably heard. So first and foremost, this past weekend was free license weekend for freshwater fishing. So I hope you're able to take part in that if you didn't have a license and wanted to kind of get into fishing. For those of you who don't know, that is something that FWC does offer a couple times a year. We offer license-free weekends to where you can go out and fish and recreate and try to catch something, and you can do it license-free. It's a good way to, if you don't have one, get out there if you want to fish, or if you want to get into fishing and try it out, kind of dip your toes in if you're not quite ready to make the purchase on a license yet, if it's something you kind of want to try out. So the next ones coming up aren't until June. So when I'm on next month, I'm going to remind you all again. But both, it's 2 separate weekends in June, but there's a weekend that's for freshwater, and we have a weekend for saltwater as well. So make sure you all take advantage of that. It's a really cool program that FWC offers, and it's a good opportunity to, if you have a friend who you're trying to go fishing with you and they don't want to, you can say, hey, it's free this weekend. Come out and do some fishing with me.
Good idea. Good idea.
And also on the 20th, so you still got a little bit of time. Spring turkey's coming to an end, so you guys still have a little more time to go out there and try to get yourself a gobbler. But with spring turkey, I know I mentioned it a couple months ago, especially when we were gearing up, getting close to turkey season. Please make sure that if you do have bait out there, you're hunting 100 yards away from it. Now that, you have to sit 100 yards away from bait and call them into you. You can't be within that 100 yards of bait. We've had a lot of violations this year so far. You might see some photos of some cases later, but I know it's tempting. You want to get in there and they start coming in, or it's like shooting them in a barrel. I know it can be enticing, but trust me, it is not worth it. It's a criminal violation like most of our resource violations, so please do not do that. Another thing too, I hate to be mentioning it so late in the season since it's coming to an end, but for those of you who don't know, if you do harvest a turkey, you do have to log it on a harvest log just like deer. For those of you who don't know. Now that rule was adopted in 2022, so it's been a couple years since that rule went into an effect. So if you're just getting into turkey hunting, you may not know, but if you're a pretty seasoned turkey hunter, been on the books for a couple years, so you should know by now. But that is something that you have to do as well. You can do it right on the app where you have your licenses. We couldn't make it easier for you, so just make sure that you do that, because if you don't do that, that is a violation as well. And if you are going to be traveling anywhere, maybe if you're trying to go down and get an Osceola turkey or something like that, if you're going to be hunting in a WMA, just make sure that you check the brochure, because some WMAs have specific dates, and some may be closed already. So always make sure that if you're hunting anywhere, not just turkey, in our WMAs, check their brochures to make sure, because some of them have different rules. I mean, I know here locally, the dates at Pine Log are different than the regular seasons, and make sure you have the WMA permit and any other licenses that you may need if there's anything specific, because the dates, not all of them line up with the statewide regulations.
Yeah, that's a good point right there, because at different places now we have different things going on. We have different populations and all, so that's good. It's sort of micromanaged, but it's on a good point of micromanaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those WMAs, the different rules are, like you said, because of different populations and things, and some have WMA permits. I know like you have to have an Econfina permit, so just always make sure you're doing that. The 100 yards especially, that's the biggest violation that we see that we have in our area, is that 100-yard violation rule, and that applies to, on private land. If you're hunting on private land, that same rule applies. I know some people think when you're on your own property, some of the rules may not apply because you're not, because you're on private property, not public land, but all the same rules apply when it comes to bait, for turkeys.
Yeah, good point there.
Yep.
Okay.
And another thing, luckily we haven't had any in our area, but another thing I like to mention with turkey season, especially in those low light areas and putting out decoys and people fanning, please be safe and make sure you know what you're shooting at. It seems like every turkey season we have an issue where someone's either putting out decoys or they're fanning, and another hunter sees it and gets excited and takes a shot. So always ensure that you're doing that. We hate investigating hunting accidents because sometimes they can be fatal with firearms and everything. Especially with shotguns, people get peppered. So please ensure that you know where you are shooting, especially in low light situations. If you're sitting somewhere where the sun's rising early in and you're gonna get a lot of sunlight, in your eyes, just always be sure of where you are, where you're pointing that firearm, because we see a lot of hunting accidents, unfortunately, with turkey season, just because of all the parameters that come around with it. So
and you hear them gobbling and something. Really, and that's a very good point. Talk about safety a lot, and it's very important this time of year.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break and come back with Chris.
Empire Real Estate of Florida, making your real estate dreams a reality throughout the Panhandle and more. If you're considering buying or selling real estate, please call 850-247-8868.
Hello, my name is Daniel Cole, and I own Cole & Associates Marine Surveyors, where we specialize in doing in-depth surveys on marine vessels of all types, be it metal, fiberglass, power, or sail. I am a professional marine surveyor, both qualified by NAMS and SAMS, and an associate member of IAME. Remember, for all your marine survey needs, call Cole & Associates Marine Surveyors, 850-774-1899.
Northwest Florida is a great place to live.
The attorneys at Manuel and Thompson are part of this community and have been for over 35 years.
We live, work, and play here. We worship here, we pay taxes here, and raise our families here.
When someone in our community gets injured, they deserve to have their claim handled by someone who cares.
Someone who specializes in serious injury cases and has a solid reputation.
Manuel and Thompson, helping injured people. That's what we do.
Okay, welcome back. Sit here with Officer Chris Bowley. So what else is going on, Chris?
Well, I wanted to mention, as we all know, I'm sure you may have seen on the news here in our area at the beach, Gulf World Marine Park. And, you know, we really appreciate everyone's concern and being vocal about it, bringing it to our attention. I know a lot of people have been wondering what's going on. You know, I can't talk about much as it is an active and ongoing investigation, right, but I just wanted to address it to all the viewers in case y'all were wondering. So FWC is committed to the health and well-being of all animals in the state of Florida, including our marine mammals in captivity. And due to growing concerns and reports we received because of the sanitation of the aquatic enclosures and the water quality, we did launch an investigation into Gulf World Marine Park. We partnered with agencies like FDLE, USDA, Panama City Beach PD, and we started an investigation. I know everyone is real antsy to know the outcome and what's going on. Investigations take time, and it is active and ongoing. I know there was some communication out there as far as who regulates certain animals, and so y'all know different animals within our state are regulated by different agencies. You have some, like the bald eagle is regulated by the federal U.S. Fish and Wildlife, right? Mm-hmm. Dolphins are regulated by USDA. But the thing is Florida Fish and Wildlife, we are committed to the health and well-being of any animal in the state, no matter who regulates it on paper. So if y'all see any violations or see any concerning things with any animal in the state, if you look it up and you see, oh, well, it's managed by this person or whatever, don't get bogged down in that. We work with all these partner agencies, so if you do see something that is concerning, please report it to us, and we will go from there, either partnering with other agencies or launching our own investigation. So I just wanted to address that so all of y'all know that FWC has launched an investigation into the growing concerns at Gulf World. That's a great point,
Chris, because sometimes people say, well, that's not their responsibility. Well, y'all can help out on it.
Absolutely.
We can always let them know about it. That's good.
And we all work together. It's not like you see on TV where you have, oh, they're stealing our case from us, or we don't want to work. It's not like that. We all work together. We want to help every animal, whether they're wild or in captivity. So if you do see anything, please report it to us, and that's what we do. So I just wanted to let y'all know. Kind of give an update that the investigation is active and ongoing, and I didn't want if y'all thought nothing was happening, if you were seeing the videos on social media popping up and wondering what's going on, there is an active and ongoing investigation.
Very good, very good. Thanks for sharing that.
And like I always do, unfortunately, I'm going to bore y'all again about boating safety, but unfortunately in our area we have had some incidents recently. Some of it due to the weather we've been having, as it's been real windy. It's going to be windy for a little bit here now this week. But I just want to touch on a couple things because we had two specific incidents that the safety aspects of them can be highlighted. So one of them was over actually in St. Mark's where someone fell overboard. Well, where they didn't have a VHF radio, they had no way to communicate, so there was quite a time delay. Well, in any sort of event like that, time is of the essence. The quicker response time that we're able to provide, usually garners positive results. And so make sure if you are going out in the water, especially in conditions like these, check the weather before you go, but always make sure that whether it's a cell phone, if you're going to be in cell phone range, if you have a radio, EPIRBs, anything like that, please make sure you have a way to contact somebody if you do run into any sort of emergency. EPIRBs are great because you can register them, and then if because of weather, if a bunch of water's coming in or anything, the moment that they get submerged, they send an alert to Coast Guard. And if you put an EPIRB on your boat and you take the registration of it to the DMV, you actually get a discount on your boat registration. So it's a win-win for everybody. The other thing I wanted to mention was actually here in Panama City, we had someone fall off a vessel and we had a runaway boat that was doing circles. Now that's dangerous for countless reasons. You know, you fall in, boat could run you over, that boat's going, it could run into somebody, it could run into another boat. If your vessel has a kill switch, especially in the kind of windy and choppy conditions we've been getting lately, please wear your kill switch. I've gone to boating accidents that were severely, you know, the risk of them was severely lowered because the operator was thrown from the vessel and wearing a kill switch, and it makes that boat stop in its tracks. So please wear your kill switch if your boat has one. This
happens more often than you think. We had a situation several years back where a fatality, a local community guy, and he didn't have his kill switch on, and it happens all the time. Because that boat automatically just starts going around in a circle. And I've got so many incidents of that happening, so that's a good point too.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times too, I mean, even if you're going in a straight line and you're holding onto the steering wheel, if you get thrown, whichever way you throw, you're holding onto that steering wheel, so it's gonna go in the direction that you're going, and that's why a lot of times when people get thrown, the boat will spin, and that boat's spinning, and now, you know, not only are we trying to get someone out of the water, we're also trying to stop a moving boat, we're trying to keep everyone else on the water safe, so it just causes such a complex situation that's not safe for anybody involved, whether you're a first responder or a bystander. So please, if your boat has a kill switch, please wear it. You know, luckily no one was injured in that incident, and it happened to where we're not quite yet in the total blast of boating season, so there wasn't too much traffic on the water. But as we start gearing up towards summer, you know, there's going to be a lot of boats on the water, a lot of rental boats on the water, you know, a lot of people on the water where you may not know how much experience they have operating, maybe their first time driving a boat. So just go ahead and start preparing for that. As you know, summer's coming up and you're going to be, you know, you're going to be going out on the water. Just do all your checks, make sure you have everything, you know, start thinking of, you know, scenarios, because, you know, when you drive a car, you think of defensive driving and you're already thinking, hey, if that guy changes lanes, whatever, you have to think that same way on the boat as well. So please.
That's two real life examples he just gave right here in our area, over in St. Mark's, right here locally, of accidents happening. So, and we've talked about it, especially this spring, we've talked about this wind and all, about staying off the water right now until it calms down, but it happens. So be careful.
Absolutely, and you know, sometimes the wind and current are moving in different directions. You have to compensate for all that. If you're not as experienced of a boat driver, do some research. You know, it's real easy to look up, you know, hey, in these kinds of conditions, what should I do? If I do take a big wave broadside, what's the best way to counter that? Just because those are the kinds of situations that you may face if you go out and all of a sudden a pop-up storm happens or something goes crazy. Maybe the weather guy was wrong and it's not as calm as you thought. So please just be prepared. The more prepared you are, the more you are ready for an emergency when it does happen.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and we're at a breaking point now. Let's take a final break. We've got some good pictures to show you and some all kind of cases a month and all of that. So we'll be right back.
Come see our new collection of lift chairs here at the Sleep Center. We have everything from basic chairs to fancy chairs with heat, massage, stay clean fabric, even extra large comfort chairs that lift up to 500 pounds.
Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
Kramer Marine and Outdoor is your trusted source for all your outboard boat and motor needs. We carry Skeeter Bay boats, all-wheeled aluminum boats, and have the largest selection of outboard motors, parts, and accessories in the area. And our master-certified, factory-trained technicians are ready to take care of you. So shop us online at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM. We're here to keep you out on the water.
If you haven't been to Lighting by Levon lately, you haven't been to Lighting by Levon. We've recently expanded and refreshed. Lighting by Levon is now the largest lighting showroom in our area, featuring thousands of unique and exquisite fixtures and fans that are sure to impress. Visit our dedicated crystal room and check out our clearance center for unbeatable deals. We also repair, rebuild, and custom build the light fixtures and lamps. Lighting by Levon is in Lynn Haven and Inlet Beach.
Hey y'all, C&G offers the best there is in both service and brand. Whether it be a Browning X-Bolt or Browning BAR, we strive to provide the best there is to our community. Remember that we have all your shooting accessories like AR-500 plates, plinking targets, eyes, ears, ammo, and much more for warmer outdoor activities. Serving our community since 1950, C&G Sporting Goods, located at 137 Harrison Avenue in historic downtown Panama City.
The new Temperactive Breeze delivers a warming bed for you and cooling comfort for your partner. So say goodbye to thermostat fights and hello to better sleep with personalized climate control. Only available at the Sleep Center.
Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 8:49 to 10:49 this morning, if it's not windy, and 9:10 to 11:10 tonight. Okay, but you get out in the woods in a wind, still, that's a different situation there, but watch your water. Okay, let's continue. You got all kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so I got a couple fun photos to show y'all, a couple cases, and then some, kind of cool photos as well. So this first one we got, as y'all know, spring break is upon us, and we were out there on the beach helping Panama City Beach PD with the spring break detail. So we had officers, we were going up and down the beach on UTVs, addressing violations. The biggest thing with the double red flags was pulling people out of the water. Wow. But I do want to commend Officer Rice, Officer Butts, and Officer Brady for assisting with the apprehension of 2 suspects that we got 2 stolen firearms off the street. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that, not only the hard work of those officers and, show y'all something different that we do, because, like with Gulf World I mentioned, we work with partner agencies, and when other agencies ask for FWC's help, we'll answer the call. And even though we tend to focus a lot on fins, furs, and feathers, when public safety, when it's a public safety issue and they want our help, we'll be out there too. We're everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And 2 stolen firearms. 2 kids with stolen firearms.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that's something. Okay, what do we have here?
Well, earlier I was mentioning some, things about turkey bait within 100 yards. So that's Officer Bragg's hand, and he found a subject that was hunting within, I think it was 63 or 64 yards of turkey bait. So that's some corn he found under a feeder, and subject was about 60 yards. And this one right here was Officer Agoff, one of our newer officers in the area.
This is a different case then. Okay.
This is a different case. Okay. Officer Agoff, she's one of our newer officers in the area, out there hard charging, is a good asset. And these individuals were actually hunting only 27 yards away from that bait. So,
is that acorns or is that corn? What is that?
I'm not too sure. Some side of the
seed, it's piled up.
It's piled up and 27 yards away. So, if you're at 99 yards, 98 yards, that gives us a little leeway, hey,
Yeah.
we're not gonna beat you up over that, but when you're 27 yards away, it's kind of hard to justify, I thought it was 100 yards.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty evident right there.
Absolutely. And then it's another one of our newer officers in the area, Officer LaFrenz. And as you can see, she's holding a little baby alligator, and this was just kind of a fun one. She was in the state park, and someone went to get in their car, and there was an alligator underneath the tire. So she went and was able to secure it and release it. So if you're ever out there and you see an alligator underneath your car, call us, and we'll come get it.
I could hear those people now going back home. He said, I was getting ready to go back home, but I couldn't get in the car. There's an alligator under.
Well, people are northern visitors are. They see an alligator and they think it's a T-Rex or something.
That's a good one there. That's a good one. And we have a constant turnover of good officers coming in and out, and they get some good training up here. I know.
Absolutely.
And I've met some of these young officers, and I really like them. They have a good attitude, and they've all been around the outdoors.
Absolutely.
They enjoy it. So.
Yeah, the 2 new officers in our area, they've been great assets, and they're extremely friendly. If you see them, introduce yourself, say hello, and they've been making great cases and getting after it. So we're happy to have them. And on the subject of alligators, I don't have a photo of it. Hopefully I will next time. But this past weekend, locally here in our area, we actually executed a search warrant on someone's house who had 2 baby alligators as pets inside an aquarium in their house. So I know, I'm not telling you to rat out your friends, but if you do see anything like that, please let us know. Now, exotic pet licenses are something you can acquire, but more than likely, if you see an alligator in an aquarium, it's probably not legit.
Yeah. And they're going to get to the point where you're going to have to let them go, and then when you let them go, they're not going to be able to handle the outdoors.
No, and more than likely, they'll probably be used to people, which isn't good, and that's why it's a violation to feed animals like alligators, because they get comfortable with people. They start approaching people who maybe don't want to feed them and might be scared, and that's when incidents happen. And the alligators, we get them in our area, but if you see one, it's a nuisance, please call us. We'll go release it somewhere like Officer LaFrenz did.
Very good.
But those captive wildlife licenses I just mentioned a second ago, that kind of goes into, like with Gulf World, for those of y'all who don't know, I mean, FWC manages all exotic pet licenses and different things like that for zoos and people who have those exotic pets. So if you see someone walking around that has some sort of animal, like an alligator or an exotic bird or a chimpanzee or something, don't immediately freak out and think, oh my gosh, that person has an illegal animal. There are lots of ways to get those licenses for those kinds of animals. If something seems sketchy or whatever the case may be, feel free to call us and we can obviously investigate it. But you are able to acquire licenses for certain types of animals, even venomous snakes. There's people who have, I don't know why they would want it, but people have cobras and all kinds of stuff. But so if you see those kinds of things, if something seems off, let us know. But just know that we do manage licenses for those kinds of animals. I know, especially in our area, if you go down to the beach, big tourism areas, a lot of businesses will have animals to show off, or even people walking around letting people take photos with certain kinds of snakes and things. So those people can legally have them. They just have to do it the right way. So if something seems sketchy, just let us know. But also don't freak out if you see someone with something, because they may have a license from us.
That's a good point out there. They can't get permission to do it. And I've seen the crazy things at people's houses and all kind of birds and all talking to you and all kind of stuff. That's cool. I've got about a minute or two left. We've covered everything. What else you got?
Yeah, pretty much covered everything. In a couple weeks, I know at downtown Panama City, there's going to be a big celebration for Earth Day. I'll be out there. We'll have a table set up. We may have an alligator to show off, but with all kinds of informational pamphlets talking to the community about things happening in the area. So if y'all happen to come out, say hello. There's going to be lots of great vendors and lots of information on conservation and celebrating the environment in our area and different ways to contribute and volunteer and all those kinds of things. So it's a great opportunity. I believe it's either the 19th or the 26th. It's one of those two weekends, but down there at I think it's downtown St. Andrews.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so I know Earth Day's coming up. I'm glad they're doing a big celebration. So we'll get information, pass it on to you, but you guys will be there.
Yep, I will be there. There may be some other officers there too, so come up, say hello, ask us questions. It's what we're there for. We'll have a bunch of freebies and stuff, some swag, so that'll be fun. And then I'll remind y'all again next time in May, but I think it's May 19th, is the big lionfish roundup over there in Destin.
Okay.
So that's a real fun event. If you can go over there for the day, if you want to participate, maybe try to get yourself some lionfish, but also it's a great opportunity to taste it if you've never tasted it. It's always fun to eat an invasive species, and it's even more fun when they taste delicious too. So
that does taste good.
Oh, it's great.
We've had it. So that's coming up too. All kinds of exciting things coming up this spring, and also just stay tuned and we'll keep you informed. I know Chris will let me know what's going on with FWC too.
Absolutely.
Good job, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations on the engagement.
Appreciate
it. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Okay? Folks, appreciate y'all watching the show. Y'all do something good for someone else today. Enjoy our outdoors, and let's take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.